Good morning, good and faithful people of St. John's. My name is Alan John. A.J. is what most people call me, and more commonly referred to as Jackie's husband. I'm humbled and grateful to be here this morning. First of all, let me honor my good friend Michelle Hochstrasser, who didn't give me much of a choice on speaking this morning. I've set up a website. It's www.revengeonmichelle.org. And you guys can go and submit your ideas on how I can get her butt back. This church has meant so much, not only to me, but my family. My wife and I began our premarital counseling here 17 years ago. I'm pretty certain I missed a lot of the wisdom given during those sessions. My children were baptized here and continue to be involved. For many years, I would check a box every now and then and came to church. I was involved in nothing, and truthfully, was trying in many ways to consume my way to happiness. Well, as many self-consuming lifestyles go, mine came crashing down. I was lost, lonely, and desperate for something different. Thankfully, my spirit led me to this church and the good people here. I sought counsel from some very wise people who reminded me of the long-standing invitation from Jesus to follow. We had some really deep and thought-provoking conversations, and Jesus began to sound different than believing. When I told Father Paul I would need to investigate this Jesus and find out if he was worth following, he smiled and said, "Great news. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote fabulous accounts of the life and teachings of Jesus. Start there." So I did. I felt the invitation to come as I was and engage in my faith way before it became our identity statement. So thank you, Peter, and the team of people who manifested that identity statement into existence. Not immediately, but eventually, my life got better, and I got better at life. Everything began to change. My marriage, my relationships with my kids, my relationships at work, my relationships with many of you, and best of all, my relationship with God. Then Brad Smith showed up, and like many of you have experienced, he encouraged me to travel into deeper waters. Go out where you can't touch bottom. Don't worry, he would say. God is with you. Together, we formed a Lectio Divina group, and it blesses me each and every week we meet. I'm enriched by those faithful souls who come and explore with us, and all of you are invited to join. I promise you'll be glad you did. One of the blessings I continue to explore is this lifestyle of kingdom-first living. What does that mean, and how does that play out in my faith life? Well, as part of kingdom-first living is kingdom-first giving. If we are Jesus followers, the order of giving our financial resources should be this: we give, we save, we spend. I assure you, this was not the order I was using my resources. We give to God first, we save second, and we live on the rest. Jackie and I were encouraged to pick a percentage of our paychecks and give it away. I brought my percentage to Jackie, and she said, "We are doubling it." I thought she was nuts, but it has been the best decision, and the tight grip we once had on stuff has loosened tremendously. Honoring God first has blessed me beyond my wildest imagination. So come on, good people of St. John's, let's be crazy, generous percentage givers. What hangs in the balance of my yes? What hangs in the balance of your yes? And what hangs in the balance of our collective yeses? I know two things for certain. Number one, we will never have a budget deficit here. And number two, you will be so glad you did. And finally, my prayer for you and my prayer for me during this season of discerning is this: God, grant us the wisdom to know and the courage to do it.